Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Knox Broadcast of the Open Forum Radio crew and of Knox Broadcast family. This is my review of Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs is a story of Aiden Pierce, which is a guy who is kind of not lost everything, but he's lost something very sacred to him and very dear to him. Despite his best efforts to not seek after revenge, he finds himself quickly in a bunch of different scenarios because he has become this vigilante. Now, kind of along the way, Aiden Pierce learns different skills and things of that nature, and he gets into a bit of trouble with some of the wrong people. But nevertheless, Aiden Pierce always finds a way to get out. The problem with this is that Aiden is not particularly interesting as a character himself. Neither is everybody else that he kind of meets along the way. You have some characters that are, great hackers and everything else, but nobody's really a great orator. You have some people that he meets and comes across that are just dumbfounded, bumbling idiots that he kind of takes advantage of for his own means, of course. Now, along the way, something else happens during the story, and his family's attacked and things of that nature, and that takes him through a myriad of different people. He meets anybody, whether from street level gangsters to mob bosses to kingpins and to people that pretty much control the city. But throughout the entire sequence and throughout the many sequences that are in the game, just nobody seems particularly interesting enough to really be compelled to kind of dive into more of their storyline. There are a couple characters that help Aiden out along the way, and he tries to find his way through this crazy hacker, cyber, gangster, mobster story. But ultimately, in all, I mean, the sequences are fun that you play, and the story is is progressive, and it does get a little bit more larger and broader. But ultimately, it falls flat. Now, in terms of the actual things to do in a game, well, this is an Ubisoft game. From leveling up to skill systems to extra missions and side missions, it is much to do. You can change clothing. You can even order cars on demand. So whatever car you go through the city and you jack and you unlock or whatever, or you find in a parking lot, that car is accessible to you at that specific time, which is great, especially when you're in a tight bind. But you can't order them on missions. There are tons of digital trips, as they call them, where you put on a sequence of glasses or you take certain things and you go throughout the entire city doing those. They even have a progression system as far as your crafting. You can craft items. It's not as deep or as varied as like a Skyrim, but you can buy guns and you can craft items for upcoming missions. So you can go into the mission the way you want. As you can see here, you can go into a gun blazing, or I guess grenades blazing, and you can pretty much, just wreak havoc in the game with the items you've crafted. You can also black out the entire city at certain sequences, go in and take your target out very quietly, and seamlessly it just falls into the gameplay. You can use things at your disposal like drain pipes and drainages and everything to, do your vigilanteism, take care of people in the city. And the more you do these sequences, the better the city loves you. Even on certain instances on like the radio, news reports are saying the cops are trying to find you, but the people will not call the cops. But beware of your reputation, because online hackers, this is the multiplayer, will hack into your system also seamlessly. Even though it's seamless, it does get kind of annoying having people hack into your single player game. You can turn this feature off, but if you don't turn it off in the very beginning, you lose all of your progression. It's not too difficult if you're familiar with Assassin's Creed multiplayer. All you do is find the person that doesn't look like an NPC and you take care of them. The graphics are good, but of course, this game is not a next-gen game. This game was designed for last-gen consoles and up-res for these consoles. Some of the draw distances look good, and some of the textures look great, but in other spots it doesn't look so hot. There's a small little hacking system. It gets really difficult as you go along in the story, because of course you're going against hackers. But all in all, I really do like Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs is not a great game or a fantastic game, but it's not a terrible game either. And when you really look at what they've done with this game, they have created a progressive world. They gave you a multiplayer, and they've also gave you, an average story to kind of romp in. I give Watch Dogs a solid 7.5. This is Knox Broadcast, and this is Open Forum Radio, and this has been my Watch Dogs review.